Hi, I welcome you today. My name is Vera Sompon, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sompon Social Service. Sompon Social Service is a social institution and an educational board recognized by the German government for us to train, empower, support, do youth work, do family work, do women work, men work. We do developmental work. We are really in diverse areas. So we are a professional institution offering social services for diverse people. Okay, and we have been working for the past 11 years now, and it has not been an easy path, but I'm so grateful because I stand back and I know that it has been all just by the grace of God. Who am I that God will so lift up in a foreign country to bring up such an institution, a social institution that can provide solutions. And it is amazing because the sole purpose of my existence is to help people, and that I knew when I was 10 years old that I was going to help people, be it at the judicial level or at the social level, or again in narrative and storytelling. So somehow uh, I knew that quite early, and that was also by grace. I want to salute you. I appreciate you who is there and who is in the group, the Sompon Social Service Group. I appreciate you for always passing by to check on us, to know how we are doing, to check on the different projects that we are having. We have diverse programs, and even we have a Sompon TV. With the TV, we just want to give our own observations of what we see out there. And so this is your space. Feel free in this space to exchange intellectual ideas. Feel free so that we can learn from one another. Remember, it's a space to reflect, it's a space to really think. And of course, we, after we have reflected, taught, and we have empowered ourselves, we want to take the right actions for change. And this change should be change for the individual, change for the family, change for the neighborhood, change for the community, and then of course at the global level. So, and that takes me to my conversation and discussion of today on unity. Oftentimes I have heard many of us complain that we are not united. So if you ask the common young African person, why are we where we are? The first thing that we complain is that we are not united. When you get into the diaspora and you see thousands of organizations and we fight one another, and the next question, and we want to ask, why are we fighting one another? We say the answer will be, we are not united. And so today, I don't want to go into the conversation of we are not united. I don't want to go into the problematic, the complaints, because we've done that a lot. We know that it is difficult, but I want to find ways to move forward, that we find ways to move forward. And that's why I came up with these 5 ideas, 5 steps that if we can look into it consciously, deep, um, not with a biased eye, then it could help us so that we can consciously work together as organizations, work together as churches, work together as individuals to be able to improve the world, right? Now, the first point for me would be to ask the question, why should we unite? Is there an essence for us to unite together? Now, why should Sompon Social Service unite with Paritate to do the work that we're doing this and provide the social services? Why? Now, if we can answer consciously the why it is important to unite together, then it will give us a step ahead so that when some other person comes close to you with this negative spirit of we are not working together, you can ask the person also the question, why should we work together? Because it is the understanding of the why, the understanding of the purpose that will give us the solid foundation that no matter what, we must work together because we know the why. Now, why must I work with men excel to support so that men should be great again? Because I know, like I know, that if men regain back their leadership, the community gains, and therefore the purpose for me to work together with Sharing that see who is having a men excel is because we want to have great leaders, right? So at this point, it is the outcome that is so important to me. The other things around, we can still rethink it. But at this point, it is no longer about Vera Sompon or Sharing Dasi, or it's no longer about Men Excel or Sompon Social Service. It is about the outcome, the result, which is leadership, right? So if we get to understand the why it is so important to work together for a specific cause, then we will no longer spend so much energy fighting one another. On the contrary, we'll spend all that energy seeing that it works together. The more we work together, the better for us as individuals. Now, let me give you um, a simple definition of unity. For me, unity is that conscious effort that I put consciously come together with an organization, with some other person to achieve a specific purpose. And so the purpose could be diverse, right? So I must not be the one bringing up that idea. No, another person can bring up the idea, but I can find my space in the idea and we can work together. And I hope that if we are able to answer the why of the working together and unity, then we will be able to work together. My question to you, maybe question number one to you listening, are you able to work with somebody? Are you the genre, the kind of person who can actually and truly work with other people? If you think so, then just comment below and let's see what it takes to really work with other people or other organizations for the growth of the continent, right? So, point or step for me, number two, how to work and unite for success will be the renewal of our mind. In the time of colonialism, the Europeans, when they came to Africa, they used the divide and rule method so that they could really get into our continent and steal and destroy us. Through this history, we can see that our identity was destroyed. We felt inferior. Now, the oppressor taught us these things, and we have had it for many, many years in us. So that even amongst us, we the oppressed, some of us now have the attitude and behavior and tactics of the oppressor. And that's why it is so important that we learn to renew our minds, take away the old a character, attitude, behavior of the oppressor, and renew with the new vision and the Agenda 2063. An agenda that must be in our lips, all the sons and daughters of the African continent. Understanding this agenda will give us a step forward. And for us to implement this agenda, we must go back again to renew our minds. I want us to understand that being famous is not the ultimate goal. And we all can never be famous. But one thing we all can become is becoming great. Why? Because greatness is a product of service, right? So now, if we are all desiring to be great and we are all doing service for humanity, what stops us then to unite that force together so that we can be able to serve humanity much better? Right? So there's a need for us to re-question and renew our minds from old beliefs that we can't work together, from old beliefs that has limited us to be able to unite and work together, because it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about our grandchildren, our children's children, and the generation after us. And this takes us to point and number 3. This one I got again to understand it better when I had a conversation with Maria Kaina, a dynamic woman, a lawyer for that matter. And she always sees things in a different light and a different perception. And that's what makes our conversation with her always so great. So Maria Kaina said, we have something that is called intellectual arrogance. And most of us fall in that category. You see someone who has researched and has learned some few things from nowhere, thinks that he or she has become the master of all things, so that they do all things by themselves. Now, if you manage an organization all by yourself, you do the presentation work, you do the video, you do the marketing, you do the fundraising, you do the administration, do you want to die? Do you really want to die? What essence is that? If you want to be, they want to do the publicity management, they want to be the administrative worker, the same want to be the PR, so everybody is seeing you. You are the same that is looking for the fund. How? Then we cannot, you will die. And if you die, what was the essence? So you would have done all this, and they would have seen you and known that you are here for a short time, and you die. And immediately as you die, your work stops. What a waste! What a waste! We have to grow up. And therefore, the opposite of intellectual arrogance is intellectual humility, being humbled. Being humbled means that even though you can do all these things by yourself and get maybe all the money, you consciously look for another organization, maybe an organization of a brother, a sister, or some other person, and you say, you make a deal with that brother, right? Or with that sister. And the deal should be transparent and say, you are good at this, and I'm good at this. I help you in your publicity management, and you help me in finding funds. Once you have understood this principle, my people, we will move forward. I work a lot with organizations and German and foreign organizations, and I have seen this over and over. Yesterday, I was in the bank. I wanted to open an account for my daughter. And while we sat at the bank, we saw the flour, a container of flour. And we noticed there that it was from another organization that offered it, and they come once a week to do the taking care of this flour. And I had a conversation with a friend who was there, and she said, but why do they have to look for another institution to come do this? It saves them money if they would have done that all by themselves. And I looked at her and I said, no, that's a wrong concept. On the contrary, it saves them so much, because giving this assignment to another company makes you work with another company, you give employment to another company, and you still have a lot of time for yourself. This is how we should think so that we can move forward. And if we do that, I tell you, in no time, we will be amazed at the changes we'll be able to do. I see organizations at times, they have a lot of people following them. And I'm asking, but what do you do with these people? You can't offer all services to these people. Why don't you work together with Someone Social Service, with Men Excel, with Root Wings, with all these other organizations that are around, so that everyone finds their space in that, and offer to the people that are following you diverse services to improve and add value to their lives. No, I'm not sure we can do that, because we think that we have the monopoly of all the knowledge. And that is a destructive attitude in business, or again in the family. And this takes me to point number 4. Consciously, consciously, it's a conscious act to say, I want to work with Men Excel. Now, I want to give a specific example on this. Men Excel is an organization, or a program from a friend, Sharon Dasi, and her intention is to empower men. So she organized conferences, and she organized talks, interviews, right? Now, Someone Social Service offers social services for every other person, and we work with government, we work with institutions, bigger institutions. So we don't have the challenge of having maybe the specific fund for our work. But what happens is this: how can I work, and how can we work with Men Excel? Men Excel is just an example so that we understand. Now, Men Excel got to organize this event, and some social service can say, you know what, I'm going to apply for fund for this your event. Is that okay? Now, some social service applies these funds from her government partners, and if it is a good project and event, she gets the fund. Now, what happens in the application of the funding is that you pay for rent, you apply for rent, you apply for personnel and all that, right? Now, the organizer, what does she need? She needs space, she needs to pay for her time for the organizing, and maybe for people who will do some other assignments. And of course, if I'm going to talk, I need also to be paid. Is that so? This is how you work together. You now say, okay, I will apply for the fund. It is me applying for that fund. It is not you, Men Excel, but it is your event. So we are cooperating together. And therefore, I'm going to speak at that event, and I apply for that fund. And you have now the other funds for your other activities. Men Excel have not much to do apart from organizing, and I come in to look for the funds. Why? Because that's my expertise, to look for the funds. Is that so? How does Men Excel profit? She profits because she doesn't have to go looking for funds by herself. She doesn't have to invest her own money by herself again. I mean, we have done that in the past. We must not do that again now, when we have competent institutions. And that's how I think that if we work consciously like this, we can be able to achieve a result in a very short period of time, right? And I hope that we really learn from that. And then the fifth point, and maybe for me the last point, also very important, is recommending and making use of our different products. Let's take, for example, we have an author, someone writing books. If I'm teaching, I teach on racism and discrimination at the university. And if I have a sister, a brother who is an author and wrote books about racism and discrimination. If I have to recommend a book, whose book would I recommend? Her books, his book. Why? Because I want to work with him or her, and I want to support him and her or her. And when I use his book, her books, in return, she recommends also my organization whenever she has an event. We have to buy our services. Now, if I don't buy your services, who buys them for you? If we consciously buy our services, make use of our services without expecting that we should be taking it all the time for free, we are definitely going to grow. Sompon Social Service is an educational board. We do trainings, all diverse trainings. Now we're having a master's class coming up, and we are going to, of course, put a fee on that. If you come to the master's class with the intention you want to have it for free, I asked you the question, who is going to pay the teachers? Who is going to pay the time that we have spent to be able to put the program in place? You realize that wickedness, self-hate, destruction, self-destruction can push us not understand how important and even the advantages of working more together and buying our product for ourselves. When you buy my product, the money stays in the continent. If you refuse to buy my product, you choose to buy the product. I mean, we should have the choice to buy any product wherever, right? But let's stay on the continent. So you refuse to buy the product and you choose to export from here to Cameroon. What have we done? We have destroyed the market person in Cameroon, consciously or even unconsciously. Hey, my fellow brothers and sisters, we can do better. So I think when we learn, it's because we want to put that into implementation. Put these 5 steps, try them consciously, reflect on them, right? And then leave your comment below. Which of the 5 steps made sense to you? Which of the 5 steps you would want to try? And if you have also maybe other points that you think they are so important and necessary, just comment below and we can have a talk on it. I thank you so much. I remain your sister in change. Remember, we are doing this together. It is a process. We must communicate these things. We must talk about them. Why? Because we want to improve our lives, right? Why? Because we want to have a better tomorrow for our continent and our children, right? Why? Because you and me want to see the fruits of this labor we are laboring. Is that so? I send you my love and my hugs, and I remain your sister in change. Let us unite for our continent and for our people. God bless you.